What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got another rumors video to be going over with you guys. In today's video, I'm actually going to be talking about the fact that the New York Knicks will be reportedly targeting Portland Trail Blazers forward Norman Powell in this offseason. This is all being reported by a Bleacher Report. I think this is actually a really cool player they could be actually potentially targeting. Again, we've seen that the New York Knicks are reportedly going to have an absolutely huge offseason. They're about to make the playoffs for the first time in a very long time with one of the best power forwards in the league at the moment in Julius Randle, one of the best upcoming young shooting guards in the league in RJ Barrett, one of the best veteran point guards in Derrick Rose as well. Again, all they need to do is really find a center and maybe, a potential spacing here and there. But considering Reggie Bullock has actually been really good in the starting five for them this season, there isn't really too much concern besides the fact that maybe this team just needs some more star power for, to really make a splash in the playoffs. But I think going after potential role players that are really exceeding the role player name now, like Norman Powell, who he's literally averaging like an insane amount of points per game. Like, it is actually, crazy that Norman Powell is considered a role player and he's averaging about 19 points per game, 3.1 rebounds, 1.9 assists on 40% from three. Of course, that would be great by the New York Knicks. In my opinion, he's probably going to re-sign with the Portland Trail Blazers. I mean, they didn't get him here if they, to the team, if they didn't think that he was most likely going to re-sign with the team. But I definitely believe he will. I think that Norman Powell will most likely be re-signing with the Portland Trail Blazers. But if you're the New York Knicks, of course, why not go ahead and target him? Considering you're practically nearly a playoff lock at this point, you just got to clinch that playoff so you don't get into that, whatever the hell is going on right now with, the clinching process of going in the play-in tournament. It is very odd, but again, this team is pretty solidified. They have one of the best young power forwards. Well, he's not necessarily young anymore. He's about 26, but mainly going into his prime now. But he's an all-star power forward in Julius Randle. He averages 24, 10, and 6 a game on 41% from three. They also have one of the best young shooting guards in RJ Barrett, who averages about nearly 18 points per game in 35 minutes per game as well. Derrick Rose, veteran point guard. Alec Burks, a veteran guard off the bench, who averages about 12 a game. Emmanuel Quickly as well, who'll be another guard, I think, for the future off the bench. Elfrid Payton starts now. I think they'll let Elfrid Payton walk, and they will potentially go ahead and maybe just go and maybe sign a different point guard. I'm not necessarily too sure. I feel like they'll go out and get a different point guard. I don't know who it's going to be. They'll probably go out and sign another center as well. They'll look at like an Andre Drummond type of player, I think. They go in with Mitchell Robinson, and then I think they'll look for another star, and then I think they'll look for that, another role player like Norman Powell. Because, of course, we've seen that Reggie Bullock is going to want to get the bag after this offseason. He's scored 11 points per game on 40% from three. A real good veteran team could use him and could look to sign him for about $10 million a season. We've seen how important those role players are, and if Norman Powell's willing to accept a $15 million per season deal, and Reggie Bullock's looking to accept a $10 million deal with somewhere else, I'd make the decision. I would get Norman Powell over Reggie Bullock, because yes, it's about $5 million more per season, but you're also getting about 8 points per game more. You're getting a more natural scorer, probably not a better defender, but a guy that also might be known to be better at shooting threes, who I think will take over, Reggie Bullock, who's starting at that shooting guard / small forward position. I think that Norman Powell will be the starting small forward if he does join them, and of course they just need to look to get a point guard that can play make. Because of course, if you lose Elfrid Payton, yes, Elfrid Payton probably shouldn't be getting minutes, but I also feel like his playmaking is very valuable, considering Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickly are not really playmakers. They are mainly score first, heavy point guards. So you got to go out and get another playmaker, and if you lose Nerlens Noel. And there are definitely guys out there. Devontae Graham, who is a very nice combo guard, can average you 11 to 18 points per game, and can get you, that 5 to 7 assists per game as well. he will be available, and he'd be kind of nice to see him play with like Derrick Rose and Emmanuel quickly too. He could be a player they look to get. You know, I could see them going after him for maybe 10 million a season. I could see them going and signing Julius Randle to a near max contract. I could see, of course, as well, Derrick Rose re-signing with the team. Hopefully, I kind of like him on New York, to be honest, and I'd see Norman Powell consider to join the New York Knicks. If Norman Powell doesn't join the New York Knicks, I think they'll just re-sign Reggie Bullock on about 10 million a season. You could say, hey, that's overpriced. That's, you know, he's too much. But considering there's a rumor Duncan Robinson could be making about 20 million a season soon, I think 10 million a season for Reggie Bullock is pretty reasonable. So if you can get him on 10 million a season, Derrick Rose on 10 million a season, probably Julius Randle on that max, maybe Andre Drummond, once this Lakers tenure's done, you could try and get him on about maybe 5 to 10 million as well. And then you could look out and try and get a star. Go out and get maybe a star point guard. Who knows who it could be, but there will be players available, and they could look out to try and get these. It will be really interesting to see how this goes down, but again, I could see them giving Norman Powell an offer. I think a contract will potentially come his way. Will he re-sign it? I don't think so. I think what they have going on with the Portland Trail Blazers right now is it's too good to give up. Like, I know Damian Lillard, they're probably not going to contend, but I think they're in a position for the first time in a while now where getting CJ back to near healthy, he's playing good, Dame's playing good, Norman Powell's playing really great. Carmelo Anthony as well has been pretty good again this season. Nurkic is getting back. Canner off the bench, Covington, Derrick Jones. You got a really nice team there. I just think you need to get another potential star. The guy that I could see them going out and getting is Kevin Love. I know he's not a star, but I think if there's any way they can restructure his contract and get him on about 15 to 20 million a season, then you take that, because there is still a chance Kevin Love could, you know, come back. He doesn't look like he's trying for the Cavs right now, and he's still managing to average like 11-11 a game, and he's not trying. I could see if he starts to, you know, try and get his body right, of course it'd be a huge medical process that you'd have to go through, but I could still see Kevin Love pull up and average like, you know, 16 and 11 per game as like the fourth option behind Norman Powell, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. And then I think that would put you into that next step of maybe being one of the top tier teams. But it is going to be really interesting to see how they do, of course, go about this. The New York Knicks could also be interested in maybe bringing in Carmelo Anthony. Of course, it hasn't been necessarily fully reported yet, but if they're going after Norman Powell, might as well bring in Carmelo Anthony back to the team. But it is going to be really interesting to see how this goes. If the Trailblazers manage to do a sign and trade, let's just say Norman Powell does want to leave, and if they can sign him to the appropriate contract and trade him to the Knicks, if, you know, the Trailblazers could maybe convince the Knicks to give them Obi Toppin, that would be a win in my opinion, because I feel like Obi Toppin is not, you know, he's not getting minutes with this New York Knicks team as well. And I feel like Obi Toppin deserves more of a chance, and I think that if the Knicks could get Norman Powell's 20 points per game for Obi Toppin, they'd probably do that, because if they get Julius Randle on the max, I can't see Obi Toppin playing more than like 15 minutes per game for the next couple of years. So his value is going to continue to drop if they don't trade him. If they can do a sign and trade him for like Norman Powell, that would be a very ideal situation, because I don't necessarily know if Obi Toppin can play small forward. He just seems too like clunky. Is that the right word to use? I don't necessarily know. But yeah, if the Trailblazers could get Norman Powell out of him, that would be a pretty good result for them. He could be, you know, Carmelo Anthony's long-term replacement as well, considering Carmelo might be leaving or retiring. Then again, you're going to have like at least 20 to 30 minutes per game off the bench that you will lose from Carmelo Anthony. Again, he does play the 25 minutes per game this season. And then there at power forward, small forward, it'd probably be about 18 to 25 for Obi Toppin, a power forward off the bench. It would be kind of cool to see. And yeah, I think he's a player they should definitely target if they could maybe potentially try and reach a sign and trade. But of course, I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel, MIRL/Long Channels, if you haven't already. And don't forget to check out my podcast as well if you haven't already. Links for them will all be in the description down below. But as I said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.